I think chess is a game of genius masterminds, but is it really though? You see, this is my cousin, and he loves the game of chess. But in terms of human evolution, I'd say he stopped as a monkey, and for some reason, nothing I've ever built really impressed him. So I recreated the only thing he truly loves and challenged him to a game of chess, the winner of which gets to continue playing in this world while the other is banned forever. Which is why I started cooking up a plan for victory. I'm so dumb. How am I meant to be the guy who plays chess all of the time when all I do is play Minecraft? Oh wait, I do play a lot of Minecraft, so why not recreate the chessboard in Minecraft to learn about the details of the game, which will definitely give me a better chance of winning. And we have just the right spot to do that, but I do need to kill a lot of squids before we start. Okie dokie, I think we have enough black dye to start building the borders. Yeah, mobs are going to be a big problem in this project, but it's fine, I can just kill them. Oh my god. Okay, now this should save me from the jump scares, because my little heart can't handle that. I was prepared. And so this is the outline of the board. It's pretty massive, but that's okay, because I'm going to beat that monkey. And I mean, all we have to do is just fill it in. Now, a normal chessboard has a total of 64 black and white squares, but the board I'm gonna build has only 56, and I'll explain that later on. But for now, I'm gonna use this machine that made me rich, because with 4 of the strings we can make white wool. You see where I'm going with that? And additionally, each square I'm building is going to be 25 by 25 blocks wide, which means filling up the board will take a while. Woohoo! I'm finally done filling up the white parts. Now the problem is, I need to figure out what type of block would be the best choice for filling in the rest of the board. Considering it took around 17,000 wool to fill up the white squares, really not sure. After a bunch of testing and trying to figure out what block I'm gonna use, I think this is the one. It's pretty easy to collect and it has the perfect texture. And just to be sure, let's fill out one of the squares. It doesn't really look dark enough, but I know exactly how to fix that. As for now, let's focus on gathering the black stone. And for that, I'm gonna steal one of these bad boys. Just a bloop and boop. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. I reached bedrock, but it's not working. Maybe if I just try again. It's the same answer. No idea why it's not working. Okay, I think I know what happened. Yep, we had a block hidden in between the bedrock. If this doesn't work, oh yeah! And now I can insta-mine blackstone in this bastion. And so it took me like 20 minutes to clear out this part. Oh, I see the next bastion I'm gonna annihilate. Oh, and some gold. And who thought they would prepare gold just for me to take? Well, that was a nice bonus, I'd say. But additionally, this bastion was amazing. It had so much blackstone that I easily collected all 17,500 that I needed. I then polished all of the blackstone and went back to work filling up the board. Well, it's definitely not black enough for me, and I think I know how to fix that. So first, we smelt some sand, then we convert them into black and white glass. We get this. I mean, on a small scale, it doesn't really do much, but if we do it to the whole board, I think it will look good. And that little change will require a lot of sand. Okay, now that I'm visualizing how many shulker boxes I need to fill up with this sand, I'm starting to feel a bit nervous. This might take a while, but at least I think I crafted enough shovels to do it. So now we have all of these shulker boxes filled up, and logically the next step was building an automatic smelter. I mean, technically we could make it look good, but I think this is the fun way to do it. Oh my god, that looks ridiculous. And now let me show you the most genius collection system. Ta-da! Okay, so I'm building a big enough AFK spot for me to stay in. So now I can just go to bed and let the smelter work overnight. I feel like 11 hours was more than enough for this to, guess I was wrong. Is it even working? Oh wow, so it was working. Just needs more time. However, we still need like a million gazillion of the black ink and white dye. So I'm just gonna use my alternative account to AFK the rest of the smelt session while I start gathering materials for a squid farm. Essentially, everything I need is basically in this monument. Hopefully, because sometimes the monument spawns in without them. In any case, we must kill the big harmless fish first. There is still 2 more left to go. I completely forgot. Was this the last one? one. Nah, that's the last one. Would you look at that? Exactly what I was searching for in this monument. These are sponges. And the fastest way to dry them off is by just chaotically blasting them in the nether. It's my first time building a squid farm, and I think I'm doing it right. So we found a river, which is the ideal place to build this farm. You know what? Let's just quickly build a beacon, but I really didn't expect this farm would require a lot of digging. Well, whatever. And to begin with, we had to dig out 20 layers of this concrete. Yeah, I think this should work. That doesn't look like it's working. Well, I definitely was wrong about this farm being easy to build. And now we just have to open up all of the fences. By my estimate, it should work. Yes, it's working. So now let's fill these up. And lastly, we need to dig out 29 more layers of this concrete. Unexpectedly, this farm is actually expensive. And now we wait to see if it was all worth it. Oh, nah, it's not working. Which means we have to drain the river nearby. Squids aren't spawning. Overall, it wasn't the best place to build a squid farm, but I somehow made it work. Oh yeah, this did not take like 4 hours to build. Anyway, before I AFK for the black dye, I'm gonna need some bone meal. Hey, this is what I need. I think it took me like an hour to collect all of this. As for the black dye, I just had to AFK for a bit, and that's that. All of the dye needed to cover the board with glass, which as you can see fixed the problem of the board being not dark enough. But I still need to add another layer of the black border. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a perfect glossy chessboard. Now comes the most interesting part of this project. A normal chessboard will usually have 6 unique chess pieces, ranking from the least valued all the way up to the most important piece, which is the king. Now, since I'm building this in Minecraft, it only makes sense to swap the real chess pieces with Minecraft mobs. Now, why did I choose the chicken jockey as the pawn? Well, first of all, it's small and it looks good, but also, the pawn in chess is very easy to avoid due to its lack of movement options. The same can be said about chicken jockeys. You don't even have to run away from them. You can just walk and they'll never catch up. If you put a leash on the chicken, the zombie won't even attack. And to keep things interesting, I'm going to be trapping the mobs I built in a small chess minigame. But before we do anything, let's rebuild the smelter over here. Cause you know, it's Minecraft and you always need to smelt some stuff. Next up, I need to build the black chicken jockeys for the other side of the board, which is why I'm building a small sheep farm. And I'll still need to gather other stuff too. So then I dyed the sheep black and gathered enough wool for my builds. And realistically, the only way to gather green and lime is by gathering some cacti and building a farm of some sort. And since the amount of green I need isn't that high, this will suffice. Oh yeah, a place where we can gather terracotta that we can then convert into any color we want. Oh, this is the best flower to get yellow dye, so let's gather a bunch of them. And I'm going to need a lot of strip jungle wood. Strip birch wood? Yeah, I need that too. And if you're still watching, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Anyway, after collecting the materials, I built the jockeys and it was time to trap them. This is a chicken jockey farm. It filters out all of the trash mobs, keeping only the chickens afloat. Then it sends them through a pipe that leads to a spot where you collect them. And so I had to build one in my hardcore world with the incentive that I would be getting husk jockeys. But instead, after AFKing for the whole night, not a single husk jockey spawned in. And to make matters even worse, the way I planned to move these jockeys back to the board failed. Let's try again. What? I don't get it. Why isn't it going into the portal? That's super weird. Well, it turns out Mojang decided to discriminate chicken jockeys and ban them from ever using nether portals. So now I'm stuck with 2 problems. The farm I spent hours building produced normal jockeys and I'm left with 8 missing husk jockeys that I somehow need to find. And secondly, I also need to figure out a way of transporting the normal chicken jockeys 3,000 blocks back to the board without them burning or getting lost. And how in the world of living am I planning to do that? Well, first of all, I had to figure out a way to get the jockeys down to the ground. Well, I quickly started by clearing out an area and building a small spot to handle the jockeys. And now hopefully, if I trick the jockey into falling, it should end up in that spot. It's not gonna end up in this spot. It's gonna end up somewhere very far away. Okay, now I need to guide it into the spot without letting other mobs kill it. What is it when the spiders? No! I failed. I'm sorry, Micho. I think I fixed the problem. Now the jockey should end up in this spot. What the hell is he doing? No!
It's gonna burn. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, it felt like he was burning forever. Eventually, I had to construct a pipe that leads straight into the chamber of jockeys. That way, the chickens have nowhere to go while falling. Okay, this seems to be working perfectly. After all, we did lose a couple of soldiers, which means my nights of AFKing aren't over. But that's the least of my problems. Since for the husk jockeys, I couldn't just call it a day and AFK while waiting for them to spawn. I had to manually fly around the night, up and down, until my eye saw a chicken, which I then had to name tag and trap in a box. And I think we all know chicken jockeys don't spawn in broad daylight. So what did I do when it was all bright and sunny? Well, I dug a very long tunnel that I will use to transport my chicken jockeys. Bit by bit, I chiseled down the path and roamed the sky at night searching for my prey. And after hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, I finally found all 8 of the chicken jockeys. And obviously, I found some other rare mobs such as a fully covered iron husk, a fully covered iron skeleton, and... what the oh my... what the... this is the rarest mob I've ever found in my life. Okay. We need to save it. Oh my god, I'm speechless. I took off my armor since I have thorns, and now I just have to kind of dig a hole beneath it and trap it. Oh my god, it does a lot of damage. And it's almost daylight. Woo! The rarest mob trapped. Then I sprayed my jockeys with regeneration and transported them by using leads and just pulling them over to the board, since these jockeys don't burn under daylight. As for the normal jockeys, I also splashed them with a potion of regeneration and took a swiftness potion myself to be able to run faster throughout the tunnel, which as you can see was a really long run. Then I waited for it to become nighttime and then moved the jockeys without cover until I reached the board. We can finally move on to the next chess piece. And actually, by the metrics I found on the internet, we have 2 chess pieces of the same value. The knight, which looks like a normal horse, and the bishop, which I decided would be a vindicator. No specific reasons if I'm being completely honest. I just feel like the vindicator fills in the role of a bishop amazingly. So we're just searching for 2 white horses, which I think these are the ones. 2 black horses, you kinda look like brown. And this one's also brown. How do you even breed horses? I mean, these 2 are just eating my apples. I don't even know why I needed more. And a woodland mansion. I mean, if this isn't perfection, I don't know what is. I'm just gonna steal 4 vindicators by placing them in a boat. Come here. Perfect. Why do you even need a pumpkin room? What the heck? Bump off, you little spider. Oh well, I do love melons, so that's good. Yeah, it could be said about these guys too, a bunch of melons. Don't you worry, little ones. I'll come save you sometime. This has to be the easiest way to transport vindicators. And now get back into the boat. Unfortunately, I kinda forgot to press record while building the white horses, but at least you got to see how I built the black ones. And I think the horses turned out great. And then I continued by building the normal vindicators, which also look great. And since the game doesn't really have white vindicators, I had to make them myself, and I think they turned out very natural. Which brings us to our next chess piece. And here it's even more obvious than ever. The rook can only go front, back, left and right. And the mob we're looking for is found in a snowy mountainy area. Why? Well, if you've ever tried standing near a goat, you'd learn that they have something called which makes them the perfect candidate. And realistically, I only need like 2, since I can breed them and get 3, eventually getting the 4th. However, for this mob, I need to gather a couple of things, like a lot of snow, a bunch of terracotta, a ton of wool from the string duper, gravel, some sand from this beach, and even some mushrooms from this cool looking island. And lastly, I need to gather a couple of quartz. Then again, we have the normal white ghosts that are in the game, and the ones we don't have, unfortunately. And I can agree, they do look a bit creepy. Next up on the list is the strongest chess piece on the board. It's the queen, which can basically move around in any direction. And do we know a mob that is very flexible? Well, yeah, it's the Enderman, a mob that can teleport. And ironically, it was the easiest mob to build. I even found some articles about a theory that at some point white Enderman existed with eyes of emerald, which is why I gave the white queen green eyes. And here we are with the most important chess piece, the king, which is the evoker, a mob that controls other mobs. Then I quickly constructed the minigame and trapped the mobs I had in it. The only mob missing is the evoker, and I need 2 of them. However, they do spawn in mansions. So I used up a potion of invisibility and a bunch of rails to easily capture them. Now it's finally time to beat that monkey in a game of chess.
Game over.
I was joking about you killing me, please.